Hello, Cosmic Soul Fam. I just did a live energy update on the full moon in Sagittarius, and I forgot to do an energy card pull. So this is an extended reading for my Earth, Air, Fire, and Water folks that are for my astrology community, right? Because this is a very potent full moon, and it's actually on my ascendant first house at exactly 20 degrees of my Venus. So I'm really feeling this energy, and I'm really feeling the call to give to you and to share some insights, some downloads, some reflections that I'm personally feeling. Again, I've been up since 5 this morning. I didn't get to bed till like 2 in the morning. So I'm a little bit, a little out of sorts, but also too in a place where I don't really care. I'm not too self-conscious about it. So I'm just going to allow this channel to flow. So if you're here, thank you so much for being here. And again, this is an extension if you want to check out the live that I just did on the full moon in Sagittarius about what we believe and how our beliefs might be shifting and changing and what is being illuminated about perhaps early education and what we were taught as young children. And now as we've grown or ascended and gotten more degrees under our belts, in other words, gotten some more wisdom through experience, through knowing, we're moving from the age of belief. I believe this to be true to I know this to be true. And that's only derived if you've experienced it, true to form, true to yourself. So I was going to do this. I got so into a flow with the transmission that I looked down and I'm like, oh man, I was going to pull a card for the collective for all the zodiac signs, right? So I'm going to break it down by elemental signs. And what I'm going to be looking at today is the Whispers of the Ocean Oracle deck. I really love this deck, especially since Jupiter just ingressed into Cancer. It's all about water, and it's about, what's hidden in the realms of the watery parts of our consciousness, which is the deep unconscious, subconscious realms. You look at the configurations or the signs of water, the first water is Cancer, right? And if you look at the sign of Cancer, it almost looks like two conch shells or two Fibonacci spirals coming into themselves. So I see this is very much a womb space because Cancer rules the stomach. It's considered the rulership of the mother, and the fourth house matters, which I consider more ancestors. But so it's where we house the energy, our creations. And so when I wanted to pull the oracle card for just added, deep, again, working with the axis point of the nodes, we're here to learn Pisces, right? So we're here to learn the unconscious realms. We're here to learn the depths of ourselves. We're here to learn our spiritual nature, that which is unseen. You go out into the water. If you go to the ocean, if any of you had the blessing of being able to go out to the ocean, you can't see what's underneath the ocean. You can only see, right, the flat plane of existence. And so what's in the ocean is hidden from a lot of us. And, we're so curious about what's going on underneath. And there's that even maybe, new conversations about is the water really, space, and the space really the water? And are there different types or different varying degrees of density of this water that perhaps maybe we call plasma, right? And how water is conscious. This is also very Pisces. So I'm going to break this down by elemental signs. So this is going to be, this first card pull is going to be for my earth signs. So that's going to be my Taurus, Virgo, my Capricorn folks. And so this is a card pull that I wanted. And if you want to take a deep breath, maybe close your eyes. And this is also intended for whenever you see this, even though this was filmed on the new moon in Sagittarius, the focus really is about beliefs, which transcend time, because what we believe to be true is fluid and it's constant and it's shifting and changing, especially right now, real time. So for my earth bender folks, let's ask the cards right now. Again, Whispers of the Ocean Oracle deck. What do you need to know as we are shifting frequencies and moving into the age of knowing, transcending from the age of belief? What does this full moon in Sagittarius earth signs need you to know right now in this fullness of being? Okay, so the card that came up, it says clearing the excess. It's number 18. So I'll show you the card here. And it looks like a stingray. And the words say you are entering a transitional phase and would benefit from clearing away excess clutter, whether it's in your physical body or your physical space. So for those of you who watched the, we just did yesterday, Jupiter through Cancer through the signs. And for you, Capricorn, this also came up again because where Jupiter is going to be aspecting your particular chart, especially Capricorn. But again, this is for all earth signs, is the body. It's being in the body in a new way. And so 18, if you add the numerology, the 1 plus the 8 is the 9. So you're completing cycles of possibly sickness, of illness, of being in your body in a certain way, of being grounded or fixed in your body in a certain way. Where did you believe perhaps how you took care of yourself is no longer true, no longer valid, right? Or your healthcare practices shifting, or you may be going to more of a homeopathic doctor, a holopathic doctor, or somebody who's more natural, right? Getting back to the earth. Are you shifting frequencies on, and even again, how you take care of your body? Again, with this particular animal, I'm seeing that he's in the ground, right? He's again, I'm hearing, especially for earth signs, you're the grounded folks, right? You're like the salt of the earth. And maybe you're being, especially since Uranus has been in Taurus for the last 7 years and it's about to get out of an earth sign, it's going into air. So this was really requiring you to focus on your body, my earthbenders, in a new way, bending your body in a new way. I'm even seeing how you relate to your body in a new way, your food sources. You're getting more holistic, you're getting more organic, right? So, and your healthcare practices are shifting, how you believe health and the body actually works, that you can heal yourself. I'm hearing for some of you, entertainment purposes only, that there's a way that you could heal yourself if you start engaging your mind, your thoughts in a different way, right? What you believe to be true. I'm thinking of the placebo and the nocebo. If you believe it to be true or you believe it not to be true, you're going to be right either way, because it's, again, anchored into belief, which transforms into knowing, which then creates a reality into solid thought forms, which is also very Aquarius, right? Aquarius is fixed thoughts. So the added information that wants to come through for you today, earth signs, is clearing the excess. So doing some sort of detoxing, clearing the clutter around your home. If you've had things, again, because Jupiter's in Cancer, if you've had old family heirlooms or things that have been stocked up in your house that you've been collecting throughout the years because it maybe belonged to your ancestors, and these were inherited things that you inherited, but that you don't want, but they've still been lingering around because you're not willing to let go of it because it belonged to family, right? So these are some of the detachments. Do you believe to be true that these material items, even though they represented a part of your lineage or your family, do you still hold value to that? Or is that just now taking up space? Is it cluttering your area, right? So anywhere that you're cluttered, anywhere you're cluttered in your environment, in your body, in your mind, what needs to be decluttered? What is this full moon in Sagittarius illuminating for you, earth signs, about how you need to shift your environment, your body, which will therefore in turn shift your beliefs, right? What you perceive your reality to be, because you've made room, you've made space, you've gotten rid of old things that no longer serve you or no longer hold a value, because we've also got Taurus right now in Venus, right? So we're really asking, what are our values? And just because your ancestors value that old lamp or that old piece of furniture doesn't mean you have to, right? So this might be clearing out that clutter for you, earth signs, and taking care of your body in a new way. So this is what wanted to come through for my earth signs. Again, if you guys are here, thank you so much for being here. This is an elemental card pull for the collective, expanding the energy of Jupiter and Sagittarius and the full moon in Sag, what we need to know, what is being illuminated. This is the next elemental that wants to be worked with is the air. So these are my air benders, right? That has to do with mind, communication, how we think, how we perceive information. This is your access point right now, especially you Geminis. The air signs are going to be Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So this is for you. Some added whispers. Again, I'm pulling from the Whispers of the Ocean Oracle deck, if you want to check that out. And just, again, asking, what do you need to know, air signs, about this full moon in Sag? What's it illuminating for you, for your highest and best timeline? Okay, so it came through. I'll show you the card here. It's number 30, and it's surrounded by prosperity. So this is the card. You see there's a lot of yellow. There's a turtle there. Turtle's about safety, security. You can look up turtle medicine. And I like to look up animal totems when animals come into my field to see what they mean, or just meditate with the animal itself by studying the animal and the fish and the colors. Everything matters, right? So yellow we know is the solar plexus, the will, and the writings on this surrounded by prosperity is your attention is being drawn to the infinite nature of reality, which exists outside. Oh, I'm sorry. That which exists outside the known is beyond measure. So this is interesting too, because prosperity thoughts, where have you been limited in your belief about what you think is prosperous? So what's that quote about the rich man who only has money and has nothing else is the poorest man alive, or something along those lines, right? So, in other words, abundance is not just about money, and it's just not about a certain amount in your bank account, right? Abundance comes in many different forms, in many different ways, in different community groups. It's how you perceive it. So, where have maybe you have had abundance that's been playing and lingering all around you, but you, because of maybe your perception of a lack mentality, or you're perceiving yourself to be in lack, that's actually not the truth, that it's inviting you to see, maybe with this Jupiter Sagittarius, that there really is abundance everywhere if you just know how to look for it, if you know how to welcome it in, invite it into your space. Air signs, again, recalibrating how you think about abundance, how you see abundance, because I'm here to tell you, being on this nomadic journey with only having a few $100s in my bank account at any given time since 2018, playing with this, can I live without money game, right? Because I just really wanted to get off the matrix and sick of the hustle and bustle. So I was playing with myself. I'm like, can I really live and survive without money? Or at least minimal, right? Just minimal amounts of money. And I'm here to tell you, yes. Yes, you can, because abundance is not just money. The one thing that I am truly healthy and wealthy with is my health, because my focus has been on, I will say, everything's a trade-off, right? Everything's a sacrifice. So while I've sacrificed money and that security of money, I've also grounded in and been able to really expand my health practices, focusing on my health, my body, what I think about, right? Because I'm not in the workforce. I'm not in some 9 to 5 grind. Yeah, I may not have a lot of money in my bank now, knock on wood. That was sort of weird. I'm gonna have to check that one out. That was such a subconscious, right? See, the subconscious, right? Superstitious. No, I am abundant, but how it shows up for me is in my friendship groups. I'm being invited to stay places where people have lots of abundance. They have, plenty of space, plenty of material items that they are happy to share because they almost have too much. It's like, a person only can use so much. So in other words, like when you drink out of a water glass, you're only drinking out of one water glass at a time, right? You're only eating with one fork at a time, right? So you can have 500 water glasses and 500 forks, but you're still only using the one at a time. So again, if you ever have played with minimalism or gone into the exploration of maybe not living with as much money and recalibrating your thought forms about abundance, what do you believe abundance to be? Because it's not just money. To me, it's one of the most valuable resources that I got to play with and actually command back by giving up money for a long time, was I was able to get back my time, right? So even if I were doing nothing, but I wanted to go out in nature and just meditate on the stars, or what I think the stars are, or just sit with a tree for hours, I gave myself that time to do so. Yes, I had to give up money in that way, but now again, I'm learning it's not either or, it's and more, right? So I can have my time and I can have financial abundance. But before, the mind, I didn't know how to work it out, right? So I had to do a lot of healing. I had to get in my body. So if you want to check out the signs, previous earth signs, if you have a lot of earth dominant in your chart, that was also about being in your body in a new way. But for air dominant, my elemental air, it's about really calibrating how you perceive abundance. What is abundance to you? These are some of the questions that might be coming up, Sagittarius. Can I perceive myself as and imagine myself and feel abundance even if I don't have it in my account yet? Or can you focus in on gratitude of what you are grateful for and the abundance that is in your life? So maybe with you, Libra, it's all about relationship. Do you have an abundance of friends and family and playmates and people who respect you, your community, right? So again, abundance is not just money. it comes in many different forms. So you might want to recalibrate and refocus on what abundance is for you. Because again, it's saying it's beyond measure. You can't measure time with a loved one, right? You can't measure having those tender moments with your 17-year-old dog that is limited, but every breath that you have, every interaction, it's just so precious. So I wouldn't give that up for any amount of money in the world, right? So again, what are your values? Because it's not always going to be about money. So that's for my air signs, to recalibrate and to rethink and regrid your architectural, structural thoughts around abundance. That's the focus for you. Okay, earth, air, fire. Let's go to our fire signs. Sagittarius, this is for you. You're fire. This is Aries is the first fire. Leo's the second fire. Sag, you're the third, right? You're the higher octave. You're like the Jupiter, Zeus, elder, the king of the gods, if you will. And so during this time period, while the moon is transiting into your element, fire signs, what is this full moon in Sagittarius illuminating for the fire signs, for my beautiful fire folks? One card, please. Okay. I got card number 10. Every step counts. So this is the card here. You can see it's purple and yellow. Purple is the crown, right? I'm actually wearing purple today, very Aquarius. Yellow is the will. It's Leo, which is opposite of Aquarius, right? So there's like a balancing here. The card reads, there is an advantage in taking things slowly. Breathe deeply and fully as you consider your options. So I'm even seeing this too. It looks like fire, right? For all my fire signs, you're being ignited because there's this trine energy happening with Saturn and Neptune in Aries, that's trining this full moon, that you might be ignited into new possibilities that ignite your inner child, that feels fun, that feels vibrant, that feels exciting. These are matters of the fifth house, also Leo. So there might be some creative play. Again, you're being ignited and the crown is at the base, right? So you're having these, I'm seeing like interterrestrial or galactic thoughts, interterrestrial, which I think is interesting. I don't use that word, but that's igniting you into a new form of play, of experience, of having a new conversation with yourself about what really drives you. Because fire signs are very passionate. It's about the will. It's about your action. It's about your will to do good, to create. It's raw Kundalini, primordial life force energy. And so I'm seeing for you fire signs right now, number 10, right? Every step counts. Slow down, because we're going at warp speed right now. Pluto is in Aquarius, which is a very forward thinking. It's technology, right? It's the speed of light, or faster than the speed of light. Now that we're starting to see the quantum priestcraft are starting to speak a new language, even on our science and how light is transmitted and the speed of things, right? So as we're speeding up, the counterbalance, again, as we're getting all fired up, to counterbalance is to slow down and to be in your spiritual practice. Because again, purple, it rules the crown, higher mind. I'm seeing Aquarius and getting into the etheric realm, which is Pisces, right? So in order to speed up, you must slow down in the body. This is also the axis point of the South Node in Virgo. Be grounded. There's terabytes of data that are coming into your field right now. And in order for you to receive this information light, because when we have all the Schumann resonance and the solar flares that have bombarded the planet, which we have talked about on this channel before, that their light is data, it's information. So for you to be able to assimilate this light and this data and this information in a coherent way in the body at warp speed that won't warp the body, right? It's sort of the play on words, but this is Gemini. That's what's going to allow you to be more ignited with your projects, with your passions. If you looked at also too, yesterday we went through the houses, Jupiter and Cancer, and for you Sagittarius especially, and some of my fire signs, it was relationship oriented. So you might be attracting different types of partnerships and relationships, again, things that impassion you, but you're being asked to slow down in the body. Take your time, right? If you're an eternal being, then what's the rush? If you believe, Sagittarius, that you are eternal, And this thing doesn't end. It just transforms and like a Fibonacci just spirals into the next octave, which is where this channel comes from. Then you don't need to rush anything, right? You're an immortal. You may have a limited time in this realm, but there's other realms that, again, death is not what we think. So asking you to slow down, fire signs, take your time, take a breath, and be in the now, because there's new passionate projects and people and things coming in. Just slow down so you can receive it and allow yourself to enjoy it, right? Not get warped by traveling too fast or being, again, I'm hearing too distracted. Stay focused, stay present, stay in the now, because what you do in the now is going to dictate what your future looks like, and staying in the now puts you in the know of all the information and the data that you need, right? The Akashic field is around you at any given time. Just slow down so you can interpret it and get a coherent understanding of it, okay? And so if this is for my final elemental, we did earth, air, fire, and now we're water. So this is for my Cancer. Again, Jupiter's going into Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And what wants to come through? Okay, it came right out as soon as I was speaking on it. The number 8, keeping it in check. So this is the little animal keeping it in check. You can see, it looks like he's deep diving. And if you, again, looked at the Cancer, Jupiter and Cancer transit from yesterday, Scorpio and the water signs, it is about going internal and doing the deep inner work during this next 12-month period, especially now. Maybe this full moon is illuminating with Jupiter, the full moon in Sagittarius. It's asking you to where you need to deep dive and to do the inner work, because Cancer is yin. It goes in. It's emotional. It's sensitive. It's also hidden. Think of the crab or even the scorpion, right? They have hard outer shells, but they're really soft inside. And so keeping it in check says, pay attention to what is going on around you. You might be moving into something too quickly or missing some important details. And this is also the number 8. So again, this is also for you to water signs to slow it down. That's really the message I'm receiving here for this full moon contemplation, is to slow things down, to be in your body, because again, you're going to be deep diving into the nexus of your internal unconscious realms, the root foundation of how you feel about things, because how you feel, right? Emotion is connected to how we think, right? Our beliefs. And so you're going to be doing the deep dive to go, you know what? This no longer feels good in my body to believe this. This no longer, I need to slow it down. I need to keep it simple. I need to pay attention, because again, I'm hearing too, you might need some more energetic boundaries than you thought, because water signs can be very trusting, but it's asking you to use your intuition and to really be discerning. It almost looks like he's going hunting or going fishing, and he's kind of looking around, but he's taking his time, right? Because you don't want to just grab onto the first thing you see because you're hungry. Cancer, especially, because sometimes we like to eat when we're nervous or when we want comfort food, right? So it's asking us even too to slow down, be in the body in a new way, and don't just do what you normally do because that's what you're used to doing, right? Sometimes when our inner children need to feel comforted, then we go to comfort food. And for me, I had to really, for example, my comfort food was macaroni and cheese, right? That was my comfort food. And it was Kraft macaroni and cheese. And I since, if I do have to have it, I use Amy's or I use an organic, but I mean, I still know the powdered shit is just not good for you. Anyway, I'm telling my inner child, hey, I know you need to feel safe and you want comfort food, but maybe we can upgrade and have, a cashew cheese macaroni and cheese instead of the stuff that they're putting in the boxes that we know now full of preservatives. They're not good for the body, right? So it's like being able to take care of our inner children, nurture ourselves, but do it in a higher octave way, right? Do it with better food, with a different consciousness about taking care of the body, wanting to really nurture the body and make the body a number one priority as you are integrating these deep emotions, right? Because water signs like to go deep, and with Jupiter's expanding you. So you're going to feel really emotional, right? Even more emotional than you normally are. But Jupiter is also supporting you and saying, but you know what? I got your back. So you can go to the depths, like swimming with the whales, right? But I've got you. I'm the submarine that we can travel to the depths I'm even seeing too in the meditation last night. I saw like when I was going into the depths of my own subconscious realms, and I saw two giant whales appear, right? They're almost like bodyguards. So I didn't feel scared, even though these whales were huge, and it kind of scared me too, but I know they were gentle. So again, using your imagination station, because with Jupiter and Cancer, what I just experienced, it can really expand your fears, irrational fears, fears from childhood, fears that you're like, why am I scared of that? I didn't even experience that. Is that even mine? Did I inherit that? I can give you an example too. I can remember, it just came in, this is actually years ago when I discovered this. I always had this weird irrational fear of going by an airport and then seeing a plane fly over and having this weird thought that the plane would crash and it would crash right into me, right? Like it would crash right into the highway that I was on. And I'm like, that's a weird thought. Where did I think that? And I had a conversation with my mom years ago, and she just, out of the blue was like, I used to have this weird thought about airplanes crashing when I go by airports. And I was like, oh, that's where I got it. Oh, I must have heard her somewhere in the periphery of when I was a kid talking about that or experiencing that. And then I took that on as my own. Right. So it was like I had to catch myself going, this is not even my fear. Shit, I've been carrying this fear around forever and it's not even mine. So let me just, I don't return to sender. I actually alchemize it and say nobody has to have this fear. Right. I mean, things happen. I'm not saying not to be discerning with your environment, but to have irrational fears, this might be the time to deep dive. And again, for your emotional signs, for the water signs, we might have some irrational perceptions that have been lingering around in the consciousness that needed to make us feel safe. And therefore we hid ourselves or kept certain experiences away because we wanted to feel safe again. That's what's disintegrating right now. Is that safety is in your knowing, safety is in being present and fully in your body. And again, slowing down and paying attention to what's going on around you, but just know, like you know, that you're going to be okay. And if you don't feel okay, trust your body to get you out of there, to shift the experience, right? It's about really trusting your intuitive nature and being okay with your extra sensitivities, especially for the next 12 months, water signs, because you're already intuitive and very emotional anyway. And Jupiter's going to come and expand that. And that's a good thing, right? What's right about this? I always like to ask, what's right about this? So that was a card. That was, again, if you are interested and you like the card deck, and maybe we could go further into it for the next card read, if you're into these things. Whispers of the Oracle card deck. And I need to probably put affiliate links on here because these are really great decks. I like to work with Louise Hay. I try not to use the other platform as much as I can, even though it's easy. I'm really trying to support those things that matter and those businesses that I hold of value. So it's just an invitation too, if you guys want to play with any of these cards, to just check out Louise Hay, because it's in publishing, and her Hay House Publishing, because she's got a lot of these Oracle decks. So all right, family, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for receiving these Oracle transmissions. Again, this is sort of an add-on to the full moon and Sagittarius transmission we just had on Live Zen Astrology. And if you liked any of this content, you found it valuable, and maybe some of your friends or family could use some of the support, some of this, just a different periphery of how to see cosmology and the cosmic energies, I'd be so grateful if you were to like, subscribe, share. Liking is free for you. It's great for the algorithm of the channel. And again, as I'm initiating this expansion and energy within me, because this is my passion, and I'm finally realizing my gifts and my talents, and I can only keep getting better at it the more I do it, right? The more I expand and really anchor in this oneness practice, right? And using the language of astrology to get us there, to get us really unified as much as we can, because we're about to transition into a whole new periphery and a whole new energetic frequency. And so what I'm seeing and feeling and knowing is what's going to get us there if we're all together and realizing that we are unified and there's no competing anymore. It's about cooperation. It's about connection and being the best octave version of ourselves. We got to do the inner work, right? And then project that out. And then meet like-minded folks and friends and family who are with this, right? Our vibe. And this is definitely an astrology vibe, astrology language. And if you want to learn more about astrology, I do have a free PDF ebook I'd love to send you guys. Just reach out to me, livzenastrology at gmail.com. And I can also give you a free PDF of your birth chart, which is like with a beginner program using, because I use Solar Fire. So I have the easy ability to just, all I would need is your birth chart information, and I'd be happy to send that to you. Again, it's a gift to you because we are exploring these astrological concepts, and we need to learn to speak the language, right? And to understand the symbols. It's a whole thing. So if you want that offering, just reach out to me. I'd love to share it. And again, thank you so much for being here. I love you guys. Enjoy this full moon in Sagittarius. There's going to be a lot illuminated for you. And I hope this channel gave you at least some periphery of what's being illuminated and how to best, or at least give you some grace on how to navigate this. All right. Thank you, family. So much love. I'll see you next time, as we are also joining in this 30-day cosmic exploration of astrology and Gemini season. And we have so much still to talk about, as there's more planets that are changing signs. We also have the solstice approaching here on the 21st. So again, there's a lot still that wants to be dissected and reflected and shared and analyzed, right? Gemini season. So join the channel for more cosmology.